Hey guys, so today what we're going to do, we're going to create our own free vector texture in Illustrator just using this piece of paper with a black print on it. So let's do it. Okay, so we've got our piece of paper over here, nice black, just black, solid black, and now we're going to distress it. So here comes the fun part. Really scrunch it up, undo it, do it the other way around. Starting to look pretty good. That's all right. Cool. So pretty happy with how we've messed this up. quite a bit here. What I would suggest though is if you do 3 copies, do one that you really scrunch up, mess up, like do some harsh fold lines, and then do one, you're just gonna have to experiment. So do one, like mess it up a lot, do one halfway and do one very subtly. You may just find that you like one or the other, then you know what you're gonna do going forward. So anyway, so the next thing to do is just to take a picture of this. I'm just gonna grab my phone, take a picture, really fill the screen up, and then just put it on my computer. From the computer, open the Photoshop, do some adjustments, bang it into Illustrator, and create a vector. So let's go do this. Right, so we've made it to the computer. I've opened it in Photoshop. It doesn't matter what Photoshop version you got. It can be a really old one, it can be a really new one. These are just really basic little adjustments we're going to be making to it. So over to Photoshop. Right. So what I've got here is the image all open. At the moment it's RGB. That's absolutely fine for what we're going to be using it for. I'm going to open up my brightness and my contrast. So with the brightness and the contrast, I'm going to pump up my brightness and I am going to pump up the contrast. Whichever way you want to go, whichever way you feel that you're still getting enough detail. This way for me is working really well with the contrast and just bring up the brightness of it there. And now I'm going to go into my adjustment levels and I'm going to do something very similar just to pump it up a little bit more, and happy with that. So now what we're going to do, it's RGB at the moment, so we can either convert to grayscale, or what I like to do is just go to the hue saturation and take the saturation completely down and make it gray. Right, now here comes the interesting part, to actually start really bringing out the distressed look that we can make. So over here we've opened up our threshold level, okay, and you can see if you adjust it to your left, it really blows it out. To your right, you just end up with a solid black image. Now depending on how much distressed texture you want, you may just want little speckles over it, or you may want to bring it up and really crack your design, which I'm wanting somewhere around about, yeah, somewhere around about here is cool for me. I think I wouldn't mind to be quite nicely distressed and work really well. Cool, so I'm just going to go click OK, and I'm going to go File, Save As, and I am going to say Distress Texture, and I'm going to save that. Okay, so now over to Illustrator. Right, so we've got our Illustrator open, and let's place our image in here. So we're going to hit it there, place the distress texture that we just saved in there. Boom, there it is there. I'm just going to scale mine down to the page so it's just easier to work with. I like to work with things on my page for some weird reason. Anyway, okay, so here comes the interesting part. How to convert this to vector. Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to go up to our window and go to a thing called Image Trace. And this is the image trace we're going to use here. Now, there is 2 versions of this image trace. You've got the image trace version that we're going to be using over here, and there's also another one, image trace over here. We don't want this image trace here because that's just like a generic version. This one here, that from the window menu, image trace, we can fine tune things a little bit, which is going to give us a better result at the end of it. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to hit the preview button, and what it's saying for me at the moment is trace being blah blah blah, may slow your machine down, blah blah blah. I'm going to open this advanced option here. I'm going to take down my noise all the way down, and I'm going to pump. I'm going to take my preview off right now. I'm just going to pump up those two things, and then I'm going to stick my preview back on. And you'll see what happens now is that it starts to give you what it's going to trace. So it's actually going to keep a lot of that detail, which I'm happy with. Click off the preview button, click trace, let's close that window, and now I'm just going to go object, expand. And what it's saying is object and fill. That's absolutely fine, and boom, look at that. So now what we have is a vector distressed fill. Now depending on which way you want to work this, you can either keep the black or you can keep the white. What I want to do, I want to keep the white because I want to place the white over my design. So I'm going to get my direct select tool from up here, which is A. I'm going to select the black. I'm going to go select same fill color, and I'm just going to delete, backspace, boom. Okay, so now what we're left with is just the white. That's all I really want is the white there. Now all we need to do is open up our design. So I've made it as a cool design over here, which I want to distress. I'm simply going to take my vector distress now that I can use on anything now, and I am just going to paste it right over the top of my design. Make it a little bit bigger. You can, this is where you've got to play with it. You can either make it big or you can make it small, just depending on what sort of effect you want. So at the moment it's white. Let's just change it across to a black, and you can see how it's now completely distressed our design. So if you want to make it bigger, you can make it bigger, and it just gets a lot more intense. So right, there we go. But now what I would do personally is we've completely blown out these letters here. So what you can either do, you can either get your direct selection tool, select these little bits and delete them out if you want, but I want to keep as much of the distressed texture in it. So I'm just going to simply select all these little bits that I want to be still visible. I'm going to copy them, and I'm simply just going to paste them on top of this layer here. So I've copied them, Command C, and then Command F to paste them on the top. And I'm going to give it a keyline, the same color keyline as the background, just stroke should I say, and I'm just going to pump up the stroke a bit, and then I'm going to paste another one on top of that, and you can see how now my elements that I still want to be read are still readable, and there we go. So how's that feel? You created your own vector from scratch, not had to learn any fancy weird stuff in Photoshop or anything like that. You've just gone and scrunched a piece of paper, taken a picture, and there we go. Hey presto. So that brings us to the end of this one. Hope you enjoyed it, learned some new stuff, got your free vector texture down now. Just remember, keep on experimenting, experiment. Get some of your old ripped jeans, take a picture of that. Get outside, take a picture of a brick wall, concrete, whatever. I'd love to see what you guys do with it. So please subscribe below, hit the like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.